So Drake's album For All the Dogs is finally out, and let's talk about it. So, I've never been the biggest Drake fan, I'll be honest. I have listened to all of his albums, and I think for the most part, they're okay. I don't think he has any stunning albums. No albums that I would like listen to in full again, but usually every album does have its handful of amazing songs on it. But with the recent run of Drake albums with Scorpion, Certified Lover Boy, Honestly Nevermind, and I'm not including Her Loss because I liked Her Loss. I think that's probably one of his best albums. They haven't been that great recently, and so I wasn't very excited for this album, to be honest. But since Her Loss was released just before this, I was pretty excited. And he said, we're gonna get the old Drake back, we're gonna go back to Take Care, and Nothing Was the Same, like that old, more R&B-ish type Drake. And while this album does have its fair share of R&B tracks, I think the majority of them are very basic. They don't really feel like something special, None of the R&B tracks can really compare to things such as Marvin's Room, Take Care, Too Good, Feel No Ways. And with the rap songs on this album, I don't think any of them can really compare to like Jimmy Cooks and stuff off of Her Loss. And so really this album is filled with a mix between rap and R&B, but to me none of them are really special. I think a lot of his verses lack everything. I think the production, well I wouldn't say any of the production or beats is bad on any of the songs. I would say none of them are special. Like they're not bad, they're listenable, but none of them really like makes it like, oh my god, this is such a standout Drake track. Plus, this album is 23 songs long, a little under an hour and a half long, which is a feature-length film, so this album is way too long. That's my biggest complaint. If you know me, I hate long albums. I think this album could have ended around track like 12. I think it could have cut a good majority of them, and this album would be much better. But the listening experience isn't that bad. It doesn't feel like an hour and a half. Like his other albums such as Scorpion and Views do feel longer while they are shorter than this album. So that's a plus. Like it's not extremely boring, but there is a good majority of songs that are strung together that are all progressively worse as they go down. But that being said, I do think there are some pretty good songs on this. Some songs that I probably will listen to again, such as Another Late Night, 8 a.m. in Charlotte. I think is probably the best song on this album, and First Person Shooter, which is actually the best song in this album, and probably my favorite right now. And that's going to bring me over to my next point, the features. There are a good handful of features on this album, which thank God it's not a 23 album long with just Drake. There are features like 21, J. Cole, SZA, Bad Bunny, Sexy Red is on it, and Yeet and Lil Yachty, and TZO Touchdown. I think those are the ones I can remember right now. And for the most part, they're good. I would say 21 and J. Cole are probably my favorite. I think Lil Yachty's is good too. I know people were hating on Lil Yachty's verse, but I enjoyed that song. I liked them together. I liked that song. That song was fun, and it saved this album from being a lot worse in my opinion. So did Calling For You with 21. I think 21's verse really is the only good part about that song. I can't even remember what Drake's verse sounds like, and there's like a little interlude that goes on for like 2 minutes in that song of just a girl complaining about how she didn't get to fly first class. It was annoying, but 21 saved that song. And then First Person Shooter, I think both Drake and J. Cole are amazing on that song. That's probably my favorite song on this album, but the features also do get pretty bad. I'm not a fan of Yeet at all, but I don't give a fuck. I think it's listening to it, I don't like Yeet or his music, but I like that song. That was more of a Yeet song. I don't really remember when Drake was on it. I obviously there's like some parts where he does like vocal cameos. That's what I would say on that song. But I do like the chorus of that song. Uh oh, Chief Keef is on one of the songs, but barely. I think he says like a couple of lines, so it's not really a feature. There is one song that I don't remember, but that's reminding me that he samples the "I Don't Like" by Chief Keef, and it's really weird. Even though I did enjoy that song, I don't remember which one it was, but that was pretty weird. It was like a weird R&B a song with the "I Don't Like" sample on it. And then I think Sexy Red completely ruins the song that she's on. I think Drake and SZA on that song are fine, but her chorus absolutely sucks. And then Bad Bunny, I actually really liked Gently. Drake singing in Spanish was a little weird. I was kind of laughing at it, but I did enjoy Bad Bunny's part on it. I know people say Lil Yachty and Bad Bunny were not good features, but I enjoyed them. Now, I do not think this is Drake's worst album at all. This is probably towards the middle. I think his worst is Certified Lover Boy. If anyone's wondering, I think his best is probably Her Loss. At least as of right now, that's probably the album with the most songs on my playlist, and probably the album I listen to the most. But I would say this is right in the middle. It would be really bad, but it does have some good songs. I think there is a few, like a little chunk of songs that are all pretty good, from like 7969 Santa to the Screw the World interlude. I think that little chunk of like 4 songs is probably the best part about this album. And after like Screw the World interlude, it goes downhill with some standouts such as 8 a.m. in Charlotte, Gently, and Another Late Night. But this album is just way too long. It does not need to be an hour and a half. It does not need to be 23 songs. This, in my eyes, was a disappointment. I wasn't expecting too much, but I was definitely expecting better than this. But after listening to For All the Dogs by Drake, I'm gonna say I like it. I thought it was fine. It's probably in the middle to me. It's definitely not album of the year. It's not even close. Utopia blows this out of the water, and this was just kind of disappointing to me. I've seen mixed reviews on it. Most people on like Twitter and Instagram are saying that it's way too long and it's pretty bad. But then of course you got some people who are like, this is the album of the year. It's the best thing ever. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm interested to know, because I think this is going to be pretty decisive. Now you're probably wondering, why did I give this an I like it instead of I don't like it? It's because it does have some good songs on it. It's just way too long. That's really my biggest complaint. If it didn't have the standouts that I really like, such as 8 a.m. in Charlotte, First Person Shooter, Another Late Night, and like maybe like 5 other songs, then I would say I didn't like it. But the good songs were good enough to break out the spam of mid and bad songs on this album. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Tell me what you thought about the album in the comments below, and I'll be back whenever someone else drops another album. Goodbye.